Madam Speaker, I rise to comment on the statement by Senator Onyonka. But before I do, I have forgiven my counterpart from Kiambu. You know, during the campaigns, we had a campaign where we used to transport people from Murima. They go and see how Western region and the lake looks like. We take our people from Western. They also come and see the difference between Kiambu, Muranga, and the others. Because some Kenyans, Madam Speaker, because they have never gone past their homes and their home areas, they don't know the difference between Kakamega, Bungoma, Vihiga, and Trans Nzoia. So to him, we all look the same. He looks at me and he says, Halwale. That we all look the same. But there's need for a cultural exchange, which is why it was terrible that Senate Mashinani, which was scheduled to happen in Busia last year, was cancelled. I think the senator for Kiambu would have benefited from that trip. Madam Speaker, I also watched with horror last night on the news these reports of organ harvesting at a very credible, hitherto credible medical facility in Eldoret. And many of us actually have even sought services there. Many of our parents, especially from Western Kenya, they consider this facility a very credible facility. In fact, when the late Lawrence Sifuna passed, that is a facility that was taking care of him. So we were in shock. But it points to a greater problem in the country, not just the exploitation of young people, the economic situation in the country, that Kenyans are so desperate now that they consider some of the parts of their bodies not useful, available for sale, so that they can eat. They can feed one organ, the stomach only, Honorable Speaker. It is a sad situation. And then in the papers in the morning, I read that there were top ministry officials in the Ministry of Health that doctored the report on this organ harvesting and trafficking business to remove what they call damning sections of that report. I think those are the people the committee should go for. Because if we are unable to provide a good living for our people such that they can be exploited like this, we at the very minimum should be able to catch the people who are exploiting them when it happens in the circumstances that have happened with the Medihill in Eldoret. So, Honorable Speaker, I think our committee should focus on those people. We want the original report, the unadulterated report, so that we know the culprits and we prescribe the best punishment for them. There should be arrests, as the senators who have spoken before me have said. And I don't know what is happening to professionalism in this country. I think, Dr. Halwale, you must speak to this. Even those KMPDU, the unions, and the other one is called Kenya Medical Association or what? The Doctors Registration Body. They also need now to enforce ethical behavior within their own profession. I'll be very quick so that we can allow Senator Chimera to also move his bill that deals with county academies and the protection of minors involved in sport. Honorable Speaker, I want to start by thanking the seconder, the Honorable Ososi, the Honorable Karen Nyamu, who has also spoken to this bill, Senator Eddie Okech, Senator Olekina, Senator Chimera, Senator Halwale, Senator Mutinda, Senator Mungatana, last but not least, who have all spoken to this bill. And I was taking notes as they were speaking. I think Senator Mungatana has nailed it properly when he said the Constitution says sports is a devolved function, and we expect that when the county governments put money in development of infrastructure, they must also support talent development through the registered associations. What we are doing here, Honorable Speaker, is that although the responsibility is there on the county governments, and the governors are very fond of shouting, saying money must follow functions. Even at the county government, those functions must be financed. And this is why we are saying, now that they are not doing it, I began by telling the House that Nairobi City County, if you look at their budget of over 43 billion, there is not a single line that is assigned to supporting talent development and sports development in the county through these associations. I also presented to you, Honorable Speaker, a letter from the Nairobi Boxing Association, and whom I want to thank because they are the ones who started this conversation with me, showing that for them to attend a tournament in Mombasa, they have to move around with a begging bowl, moving from one office to another, just to raise 117,000 Kenya shillings for them to be able to travel to a tournament in Kakamega or in Mombasa. It happened the first time, I gave them what I had. When they came the second time, I told them we have to find a permanent solution. And they agreed with me that it has to be sustainable. Today, Sifuna might have something in his pocket, tomorrow he has nothing. And I want to just calm the anxieties of the Senator for Narok by saying this. Number one, Honorable Speaker, you know for a fact that under Article 114, we cannot, as a Senate, originate a money bill. A money bill, if you were to go into questions of the consolidated fund or even monies that are appropriated at the national level, that would automatically turn this bill into a money bill and it would be prohibited. Therefore, the money we are addressing here is the money that finds itself in the County Revenue Fund, the CRF, that is the equitable share, together with the monies that are raised locally by the county governments. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it would be in order, because sports is devolved. We are talking about money that is in the hands of the counties only. We can have conversations about grants, because immediately you have a fund, Honorable Speaker, it is actually allowed for you to get grants even from national government. But we want to ring-fence this money in a fund that will be specifically for registered sporting associations. I want to remind the House that if you look at the proposed clause 54B1C, other sources of money have been proposed, including grants or donations from the national government or international agencies for purposes of supporting county sports associations. And I am sure, for as long as we ring-fence this money, we will see a lot of support coming in from even private organizations and international organizations to support sporting activities in Nairobi. Senator Mutinda, I had indicated that, in fact, during the committee hearings, the public hearings, we had agreed with the stakeholders that we will remove any reference to financing of infrastructure from this bill, because that was not the intention. The counties must continue building infrastructure. It is very expensive. I'll give you an example, Honorable Speaker. In the last financial year, the governor of Nairobi told us he has put 500 million shillings in the renovation of City Stadium alone. Now, the money that we are talking about, if we we pass this bill, 1% of the, say, 40 billion Kenya shillings that we raise as Nairobi through the equitable share and even locally raised revenue, on-source revenue, would amount to about 400 million Kenya shillings for all the registered sporting associations in Nairobi. And I want you to consider, Honorable Speaker, the indignity that these sporting associations are going through. That is what we want to fix, that they should be able to hire halls, they should be able to pay referees, they should be able to have transport, they should be able to buy food for when they travel for these tournaments. That is all we are saying, and that is all this bill seeks to do. So we will remove, I'll be bringing an amendment at the third reading stage of this bill to remove every reference. I think that is in clause 54C part D, that had said financing the development of sports facilities, including stadia, gymnasiums, buildings, and tracks. By the way, the governors were very happy about this clause. Do you know why, Honorable Speaker? Because it would reduce the amount of money that they would have to put in building stadia. They were very happy, because I have told you, one stadium alone, City Stadium, one financial year, 500 million Kenya shillings. So if you tell Sakaja that now he has reduced, we have only 300 million shillings to sporting association and also to build infrastructure, he'll be more than happy, because I think there is a lack of appreciation of the potential of sport to be able to change lives in Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to conclude by an observation that came from Senator Mungatana, that this money is not for officials. It is not going to support the county team. No, 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 no. It is for registered county sporting associations. So the county association responsible for football, if you look at clause 54F 3F, part of the application process is that all these registered, you have first to be registered. You must show us a certificate of registration issued under the Sports Act. Then you have to give us details and signatories of bank accounts in the name of the association where the funds shall be channeled. This money will be sent from the fund to the accounts of the registered sporting associations, and then to be executed or to be utilized in the proposed manner in accordance with the annual work plan which you have provided for, and then to be accounted for in the manner in which you have provided for, Honorable Speaker. So it is not for the CEC of sports to go and watch Arsenal and Real Madrid, or the next one I think is Arsenal is facing PSG. No, that is not the reason. We want these people who have been coming to our offices with begging bowls to just raise money to travel to Vihiga or to Mombasa to be able to take care of these small bills. Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I beg to reply, and pursuant to Standing Order 66.3, I request that you defer putting of the question to a later date. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.